Hi everyone, welcome to the I Can Crochet That YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn how to do the crochet almond stitch. We're going to use a self-striping yarn. This is Caron Big Cakes in Deep Lake, and a solid color yarn. This is Lion Brand Pound of Love in Elephant Gray. All right, let's get started. So I'm doing a year-long experiment with self-striping yarn and basically seeing what crochet stitches look great with self-striping yarn and which ones maybe not so great. The almond stitch was one that I've recently been experimenting with, and I absolutely love it. Some stitches, the self-striping yarn can make really abrupt changes in the middle of the row, and a lot of people don't like that. With the almond stitch and mixing it with a solid color yarn, it makes the color changes less noticeable, and it just makes the whole project just flow. And using this Deep Lake color, it just makes it look like almost like waves and water. And so yeah, it's just an absolutely gorgeous stitch and works really, really nice with self-striping yarn. So for the almond stitch, it is a multiple of 8 plus 5. So for today's video, I'm going to chain 29. So starting with the solid color yarn, we're going to chain 29, and I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. This is the Addie swing hook. I've gotten a lot of comments on this. It's been showing up in my social media, and I actually picked it up in Alaska because I needed a 5.5 millimeter hook while I was visiting my son, and this was literally the only one they had in this little shop, and I'm so glad I bought it because I absolutely love it. So, okay, back to the stitch. Let's chain 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. Okay, we have our 29 chains. So for the almond stitch, it is a mixture of slip stitches and half double crochet stitches. This first row, we're just going to work it into the chain. But for the rest of them, we're going to do all of the stitches in the back loop only. I will explain what I mean by that when we get to the second row. But for now, we're just going to work into the chain. So look for the second chain from the hook. So not counting the one on your hook, but counting the next one, 1, 2. In that second chain, we're going to do a slip stitch. And to do a slip stitch, all you do is insert your hook into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 2 loops on your hook, and then you pull through this second loop on your hook. And that is a slip stitch. And then we're going to do 3 more slip stitches. So look for that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, and pull through that loop on your hook. So that's 2, 3, and before I do the last one, kind of give you a little bit of a tip that I use. A lot of people, crocheters, find that they don't like slip stitches because it's really easy to crochet them very tight, and then it's hard to, on the next row, get your hook underneath the slip stitches. So when I do a slip stitch, I always like to do a little bit looser. I loosen up on my tension on the yarn here and how I hold my hook. And when I yarn over and bring up a loop, I like to lift it up, bring it up just a little bit so this loop has a little bit of a height on it, more than usual, and then pulling it through loosely. And that just makes sure that we're going to be able to get our hooks underneath those chains on the next row. So just a little tip there. Okay, so we just did 4 slip stitches. Now we're going to do 4 half double crochets in the next 4 chains. So a half double crochet is yarn over, find that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over again, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's a half double crochet. Let's do that one more time. Yarn over, find that next chain, insert your hook into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So you're going to do 2 more half double crochets in the next 2 chains for a total of 4 half double crochets. Now you're going to do 4 slip stitches in the next 4 chains. Find that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull it up a little bit higher than you're used to, pull through that loop on your hook. That's 1 slip stitch, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to do 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see, we are just alternating between 4 slip stitches and 4 half double crochets, and the slip stitches are creating these little valleys and the half double crochets are creating these little rounded peaks. So finish the rest of the row alternating 4 slip stitches with 4 half double crochets. So 4 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we should have 4 chains left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to do 4 slip stitches to end this row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that is row 1. So we're going to continue the next row with the gray. So you're going to chain 1 and turn. And now is where we start crocheting in the back loop only, and that's what we're going to do for the entirety of for the rest of the pattern. So for those of you who are not familiar with crochet and this is your first time with hearing about back loop only, when you turn your crochet towards you like this, you'll see that there are these little V's here. So for a regular pattern, you would insert your hook underneath both of those loops of that V. So they go both under there. But back loop only, we're leaving that front loop alone and we're going in that back loop only. So leave the front loop alone, insert your hook underneath that back loop only. Now it can be a little tricky with the slip stitches sometimes to find that back loop only, especially if you do your slip stitches really tightly. So it's very important to slip stitch loosely for this pattern so that you're not super frustrated getting your hook underneath that back loop only and just being able to see the back loop only. Okay, so we chained 1 and we turned, or now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And what I mean by that is sometimes in a pattern you'll chain 1, usually it'll be like a chain 2, and then you'll turn, and that chain 2 will count as a stitch. So you won't go into that very first stitch from the row below because that chain 2 counts as it. So you would go into the second stitch of the row. But for this pattern, in most of my patterns, the chains on the ends do not count as a stitch. So chain 1 and turn, and then look for that very first slip stitch that you did from the row below. And it's best to kind of turn it towards you like this to find that back loop only. So there's the front loop and there's the back loop. Let me get my needle. So that's the front loop of the slip stitch. That's the back loop of the slip stitch. So turn it towards you a little bit and you're going to do a slip stitch back loop only into that first slip stitch of the row below. So again, a slip stitch, insert your hook underneath the back loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then loosely pull through that loop on your hook. So we're going to do that 3 more times. Find that back loop and do a slip stitch. That's 2 slip stitches. Find the back loop, 3 slip stitches, find that back loop, and 4 slip stitches. So we did 4 slip stitch back loops only on the slip stitches from the row before. Now we're going to do 4 half double crochets back loop only above the half double crochets from the row below. So again, turn it towards you, skip that front loop and look for that back loop and do a half double crochet, inserting your hook in that back loop only. Do 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you can see, it's kind of giving us that, let me turn it around, giving us that shape, that almond shape that you may have seen all over Pinterest. But just wait till we add the self-striping yarn. It is super cool. All right, now we're going to do 4 slip stitches back loop only in the next 4 stitches, which are the slip stitches from the row before. Again, turn it towards you to find that back loop only. Loosely slip stitch 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 half double crochets back loop only. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 slip stitches back loop only. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 half double crochets back loop only. 2, 3, and 4, and 4, and you should have 4 slip stitches left. So we're going to slip stitch back loop only in those 4 slip stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and that last one, and 4. So that is row 1 and 2 of the almond stitch. This is what it's looking like so far. Really cool texture. And now we're going to introduce the self-striping yarn. Now to change colors, I like to, on the rows that we end in slip stitch, I like to complete the slip stitch before I bring in the new color. But on the rows that end in half double crochet, I will actually finish the stitch with the new color. I'll show you what I mean on the half double crochet rows. But since this row's ending in a slip stitch and we're introducing a new color, finish that slip stitch. And then let's bring in our new color. And you are not going to fasten off this solid color. It's just going to hang here, and then after we do 2 rows, we're going to bring it up the sides, and then we'll cover those sides. The yarn ups is what they're called. We'll cover that up with a border. So to bring in the new color, simply just place it on your hook and pull it through the loop of that gray color. Give it a little, tighten it up just a little bit on your hook. Chain 1. This first row, you really got to make sure that those stitches are a little bit tight. After this first row, making the color change, the rest are super easy, I promise. Okay, so we chained 1 with that new color, and then we're going to turn. So the gray, we started with slip stitches and we ended with slip stitches. With the self-striping yarn, we're always going to begin with half double crochets and end with half double crochets. So another cool thing about changing colors every 2 rows is that you know that you're always with the gray, always going to be starting your row and ending your row with slip stitches, and you're always going to be starting your row and ending your row with the self-striping yarn with half double crochets. Makes it super easy to remember. So now that we've done 2 rows starting with the slip stitches, we're going to do 2 rows starting with the half double crochets. So yarn over, turn it towards you, look for that front and back loop of that slip stitch. This is the front loop and this is the back loop. Insert your hook under that back loop only and complete your half double crochet. My yarn's getting a little bit loose over here, so give it a little bit of a tug. So now we're going to do 4 half double crochets back loop only. So I've done 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what that looks like. And now we're going to do 4 slip stitches back loop only above the half double crochets from the row below. So 1, don't forget, do it loosely. 2, 3, and 4. Now 4 half double crochets, back loop only. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just continue alternating 4 half double crochets and 4 slip stitches, back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Should have 4 slip stitches left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is row 3. And now we're ready to do row 4, continuing with the self-striping yarn, chain 1, turn, and we still got this gray hanging out here. We haven't fastened off. We're going to start our row with 4 half double crochets, back loop only. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 slip stitches, back loop only. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then continue doing 4 half double crochets and 4 slip stitches, back loop only, all the way across. And then I'll show you how to change colors. 2, 3, 4. Now we're coming up to our last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Coming up to that last half double crochet of the row, and this is when we're going to complete our half double crochet, bringing in the gray yarn again. And like I said, we're just bringing it up the side like this so that we don't have to fasten off and have millions of ends to weave in. So yarn over, insert your hook in that back loop only of that last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and instead of completing the half double crochet with the self-striping yarn, you're going to drop it, you're going to grab the solid color yarn, this gray, and you're going to complete your half double crochet with that gray. So just yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And that is how we bring in that new color. And then chain 1, just leaving that self-striping yarn kind of hanging out there. Chain 1 and turn. And like I said, with the gray, we always begin and end the row with slip stitches, and with the self-striping yarn, we always begin and end the row with half double crochets, back loop only. Let's do a few more rows together, and I can show you how this pattern is shaping up. So we're on the gray, so begin your row with 4 slip stitches, back loop only. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 half double crochets. So as you can see, this is one of those patterns that's really easy to memorize, and you can sit down with it while watching your favorite show or listening to an audiobook, and you just don't have to think a whole lot about it once you get the hang of it. And mixing this Lion Brand yarn, and also Big Twist would work really well also. Mixing that with this Big Cakes, it is so incredibly squishy and just really, really makes a really nice blanket. I could see this making a really pretty baby blanket, as well as a throw size like I made for the sample. And I do have 9 sizes in this pattern. So, okay, we're ending this row with 4 slip stitches. We chain 1 and turn. 4 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 half double crochets. And then just keep alternating that. So the Caron Big Cakes has several colorways, and I think all of them would look really pretty, this pattern. I've been experimenting with a couple of them, of the other colorways, and they all look really nice. This one just, you know, with the blues and the greens, it just looks like water and waves. So, and thank you to Christy, who gave me the name idea of Beckett, which she said an English term means a stream or like a little brook. So I thought that was quite appropriate for this pattern. Okay, we're coming up on the last 4 stitches. So again, for that slip stitch with the gray, you're going to complete the stitch with the gray and then bring in the self-striping. And chain 1 and turn. So this is what it looks like, bringing that bringing the yarn up along the side. And like I said, that'll be covered up with a border and you won't even see it. Self-striping yarn, which means we begin our row with half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then slip stitches. So I chose the camel stitch border for this blanket. I'll leave a link to another video of mine that shows how to do the camel stitch border. But I also thought that this would look really pretty with fringe. And for the fringe, mixing like the self-striping yarn with the gray and doing fringe on the bottom, thought that would look really pretty as well. It's fun to experiment with the different borders. Okay, I'm talking too much and I'm messing up my stitch count here. But anyway, it's fun to play around with different borders and different finishes to kind of make it your own pattern. Okay, ending with 4 half double crochets. This is what it's looking like so far. I really wish you could feel how squishy this is. Okay, and turn. And start it with 4 half double crochets. So I also did the Avery blanket as one of my latest patterns, and that is also done with this Big Cakes yarn in a really pretty colorway. And I didn't mix it with a solid. I just used the Caron Big Cakes and a mixed loop stitch. And that one is just a 1-row repeat, so another blanket that's easy to memorize. And just kind of a really satisfying project, but it makes a really pretty baby blanket. So you can find that pattern for free on our website, and also you can find the tutorial here on our YouTube channel. Coming up, doing our last 4 half double crochets, and again, you don't complete the half double crochet with a self-striping yarn. You complete the stitch by bringing up that solid color yarn and pulling it through all 3 loops, and then chaining 1. And that is literally all there is to the almond stitch. And like I mentioned, mixing it with the solid color yarn and doing the self-striping yarn, the color changes aren't super abrupt, super noticeable, and so the flow of this blanket is just really, really beautiful. Let me give you an up-close look of the finished blanket. So here is the finished blanket. Give you an idea what it looks like when, as you can see, this is right here, one of the color changes, and it's just barely noticeable. And again, right here, it just blends in really well. And this is the camel stitch border I was talking about, nice and stretchy. So I did one round of a border in single crochet, and I'm going to show you here in a second how to do the first row of single crochet for the border, because we needed to fill in these peaks and these valleys, and so we needed stitches that were differing heights. So let me show you how I did that. I did 2 more rows, or 1 more section of the gray, so that I can show you how I did the first round of the border. Now for this blanket, there's a right side and there's a wrong side. So this is the right side, and then this is the wrong side. And I actually think that both sides look really cool. So it wouldn't bother me if that side was showing, but this is the right side. So the reason I'm pointing that out is because when we do our border, we always want the right side facing, because the camel stitch border, it matters which way that it's pointing. So we want that right side facing. So I, for this pattern, ended the almond stitch on a gray row, and then chain 1, and then turn. And then you can, if you're done with your blanket, you can just fasten off that self-striping yarn. We're completely done with that. And now we need to do the single crochet border all the way around, which is going to set us up for the camel stitch border. So since this is like waves here, I wanted to fill in these valleys so that they had the same height. So because I didn't want it to be curved, because I was experimenting with the different borders, and this is the one that looked the best for me, or to me. So I fill in the slip stitches with single crochet, and then I slip stitch over these, and then slip single crochets in the little valleys, and that gives it an even height. So you chain 1 and you turn, and again your right side of the blanket is facing. So that first slip stitch, you're going to do 2 single crochets, and we're not going in the back loop only, we're going underneath both. So in that very first one, do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. For those of you that don't know what a single crochet is, insert your hook underneath both of those loops, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So we did 2 single crochets in that first stitch, and then we're going to do a 1 single crochet in the next 3 slip stitches. So 1, and see, I did these a little tight, so I'm struggling to get my hook under there. Don't do as I do, do as I say, right? So now 2 more single crochets. There you go. Now we're coming to the half double crochets, and we're going to slip stitch in the next 4 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 4 single crochets, 2, 3, and 4. 4 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then in this last stitch of the row, you're going to do 2 single crochets into that last stitch. So 1 and 2. And see, that fills it in and makes it nice and even for us to do the camel stitch border. So you're going to do this on the top edge and the bottom edge. On the sides, you're just going to do evenly single crochet on the sides into each row. So find the stitch from the first row and you're going to do 2 single crochets. So we end the row and begin the rows, or end the round and begin the round with 2 single crochets. It just makes your corners nice and rounded. You'll notice that a lot of my patterns, I do the same thing. So 2 single crochets in that same stitch, and then just evenly single crochet down this side. And do that in each row. And then coming to that last one, and you're going to do 2 single crochets. Now we're turning and we're coming to the bottom edge. So find that first stitch of that bottom, and you're going to do 2 single crochets, and then single crochets in the next 3 slip stitches from the row below, 2 and 3. And now we're coming to the half double crochets. So now we're going to do 4 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 4 single crochets. So it's just like the other edge. Single crochets above the slip stitches and slip stitches on the half double crochet rows. And now we're coming to the end. Oops, I'm doing my stitches here. I'm going to end it with 3 single crochets, and then in that last one, 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And then turn. And this is where we're going to want to cover up these yarn ups here. So find that stitch in that first row and do 2 single crochets. Now make sure that you're inserting your hook for that next row right under that yarn up so that your single crochet will cover up that yarn up. And same with the next one. You want to insert your hook underneath like that so you're covering up that yarn up with the single crochet. There's our next yarn up with the self-striping yarn, and again making sure it's going underneath both of those and doing a single crochet. So yeah, you just want to make sure you're covering up those yarn ups so that it looks nice and clean. Now we're coming to that last stitch of that row. Do 2 single crochets, and then we're going to join it with a slip stitch to the first single crochet of the round. And that is how we do the setup border for the camel stitch. So you can see we covered up those yarn ups. You can't even see them. They're buried behind those single crochets. So that is it. And now you're ready to do the camel stitch border. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to do the almond stitch using self-striping yarn and a solid color yarn. I hope you enjoy making the Beckett blanket. I'll link that pattern in the description as a free pattern. Like I said, there's 9 different sizes. And then you can experiment with this stitch on so many other different projects, from dishcloths to pillows to whatever you can come up with. So I hope you enjoyed learning the stitch, and thank you for visiting my channel and watching my videos. And if you want to be notified for future tutorials, just subscribe and then click on that little bell and you'll be notified every time we publish a new video. So thanks again for watching, and happy crocheting.